As we tape this, it happens to be the first day of summer, which also makes it the very last day of daylilies. Here in Tennessee, these bloom all the way through the spring, and they're just wonderful out in our gardens and along fence lines, but they're also a phenomenal source of nutrition. So stay tuned as we explore eating and foraging for the daylily. I moved into the home I live in just a few years ago, and ever since I came, exponentially each spring more and more of these wonderful common daylilies come up. They are absolutely beautiful, and something that just is special about them, if you're not familiar with a daylily, is that they only bloom each flower for one day and then they're gone. So there's this wonderful several weeks during spring where you get to watch bloom after bloom, one fresh new one on each stalk every single morning, and by evening it's done and the next one takes its place. What's also special about them is that they're entirely edible. So if you have these growing around your home or down a fence line, you might want to look into just the fun of trying them sometime. What you're going to see is that they are tenderest and most delicious in the early spring when they're the smallest plant. You can cut and use the leaves like in stir fry is excellent. Also, you can use the little tubers that grow underneath them in kind of a root slash tuber fashion. Those are wonderful and very tender as they are super young. It's easy to just throw those into salads and eat them raw, or into some sort of stir-fry type dish where they're getting cooked a little bit. Either way, they're wonderful. You can eat the flower once it's bloomed, but really it's most delicious if you get it right while the bud is at its largest state. And that's really about the day before it blooms. So if you can catch them then, that's the very most optimal time. What we're going to do today is dig them up, and we get down underneath just a batch of these, and you can see how deep they grow. They're really in just the top 3 or 4 inches of the soil. We're going to dig out the roots, because my two favorite parts that are just easy are the root tubers that you see that are just really about the size of your thumb, and then also the buds right before they've bloomed. All right, we've got a good little mess of flowers here that we've brought into the kitchen, and the flowers are really sweet, and you can just eat them raw, but they're also great dipped in batter and fried up. And the buds, both the flower buds and the bloom, those can be eaten right off of the stalk or in your favorite stir-fry recipe. There are so many ways that you can use these, but one of my favorite is just taking off the buds and dip these in a wash of egg and flour with a little salt and pepper and fry them in a good cast iron skillet, and they'll be wonderful. And then we're also going to, as you can see here, wash up these mess of the tuber type roots, and those can be used just like little potatoes. So I'm going to get these all cleaned up. I'm going to cut off the roots that have grown out of the end of them and cut off the top. As you're cutting, you can kind of feel where it starts getting a little pithy. You want just that perfect little super, oh, I don't even know the word for it, but they're delicious and they're not pithy at all, the little thumb-sized part here that you see me cutting off. We're gonna wash these up, and for today, since you can eat them just like little fingerling potatoes, I'm gonna throw them right in the crock pot with some other food and meat that I've got going in there, and they're gonna just be absolutely wonderful for supper this evening. Now, no matter which way you try to eat this plant, I hope that you enjoy. Just give it a shot, see what you think. Do you enjoy the sweetness of it? Do you enjoy garnishing something with it so you have a touch of color? Or is there some other way that you've used it that I haven't learned about? I would love for you to share that with us. Until we see you on the next video, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll share this with somebody else who you see some wonderful daylilies growing along their backyard fence or something. Get this video over to them and say, hey, let's try some of these together. Anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Hey, before you go, may I share with you just a beautiful piece of scripture. This is out of the middle book of the whole Bible. It's in Psalms chapter 62, verse 1 and 2. It says this, "For God alone my soul waits in silence, and from Him comes my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be greatly shaken." Now go spread the word.